Hi, I'm Milli. I'm the editor-in-chief of Cosmo Middle East, and you're watching the Digital Games Conference. Today, we are going to be talking all about women in gaming, and I am joined by Haya Qadi, Bianca Riley, and remotely by Wareef, who is in Saudi. But I'm going to ask you ladies to introduce yourselves, what you do, and how you got into the gaming industry. Haya.
Hi, it's a pleasure being here. I work in the events industry, but I've been a gamer for as long as I remember, honestly, since PlayStation 1 days. And then I recently started playing professionally at university, but then that was short-lived when I had a day job. So now it's more of focusing on the strategic aspect of esports and being more involved in planning, implementation, and just understanding esports in general.
Cool.
And I'm Bianca. I actually work in public relations, so that's my day job, my 9 to 5. But yeah, I've been gaming since I was, as early as I can remember, kind of like Haya. And not as much competitively, although I have competed a few times. It's more of a hobby for me, absolutely. And now trying to also bring that into my work in PR and actually work with game developers in that way.
Cool. Wareef, what about you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Wareef. I handle PR and events at Modern Electronics, which is the PlayStation Saudi office based in Riyadh. As for gaming, I do believe you're born into it. Most of us have been born with controllers in our hands. And thankfully, I've been blessed to have it become my career, as it's been literally the focus point for my life for the past 3 years. As we've done anything from launching games within Saudi and then everything post-launch, which is doing events and so on.
That is so interesting that you just said you think that people are born into gaming. I've never heard someone say that before.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, sorry, go on.
I do think we're born into it because especially around the time that gaming started to pick up, we all watched our elder siblings or the cool ones watched their parents play, and we all just wanted that sense of inclusion. So we all started to be given that controller that it is on most occasions not even plugged into the console. So I think that's what I meant by that.
Well, I actually wanted to ask about how you just said people are born into gaming, because I wanted to ask about that kind of innateness that comes with being a man or woman in the gaming industry, because I feel like there is still a lot of stereotypes in the gaming industry, especially around being a woman in the gaming industry. Have you guys ever been accustomed to that? Have you not accustomed to that? Have you guys ever had that where people have stereotyped you?
Maybe growing up, I feel with the passage of time, things have been changing. Because as I told you, we were born into gaming. We grew up, I saw my uncles and my cousins, everyone was playing. But I grew up with the stereotype of, for example, a girl can't play a soccer game or a football game. So I never learned how to play FIFA, unfortunately. But now in most e-gaming events or major tournaments, especially in Saudi, we do encourage women to participate more. And inevitably, if there's a split, we'd prefer women, and we would encourage them to sign up by targeting them and letting them know it's a safer environment and it's fun to compete, and we'll do it on your terms as long as you're there out there with us competing and taking your place on the field, let's say.
Haya, have you ever been stereotyped as a female in the gaming industry?
I think it's inevitable. I mean, when I grew up, you don't really realize that, oh, this is it's a male-dominated area. You're just gaming, like you're having fun. But as esports started to grow and people started streaming more, you realize there's a disconnect, there's a lack of female gamers. And when there is female gamers, they're more of the cosplay type, or they look a certain way. And you probably yourself, you're like, I don't resonate with her. So I see why people normally stereotype, because there wasn't this proliferation of female gamers with diversity, so that you could fit into certain category. There wasn't any category except one. And so that's why stereotypes started happening where, oh, you're a gamer girl, and expecting you to look a certain way or wear kitty ears, or I don't know. But yeah, definitely, because it wasn't as common then, like back then. Right now, yes, it's improving. You see so many female gamers, but back then, yeah, there wasn't any.
Bianca?
I have to agree. I mean, for me, yeah, stereotypes is a huge part of being a gamer. And I think that applies kind of across the board, not just for women. But I find that historically, to date, when I, greet someone and we start talking about gaming, and they'll say, oh, wow, you're a gamer? Wow, it's not what I expect. You don't look like a gamer. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, well, what does a gamer look like? Because I thought you just play games, And so there definitely are stereotypes. I don't know if I necessarily have kind of suffered at the hand of them necessarily, but it's almost always the first thing people say, oh, you're a girl gamer. Oh, cool. That's not what I expect. Usually, for example, what Haya was saying, there's a certain look, or do you stream? Or no, I just play video games, but, this is me.
Yeah. You just mentioned the phrase girl gamer. Mm. I wanted to ask you guys about that phrase, because I feel like it's so split down the middle how people perceive that phrase. Some people kind of wear it like a badge of honor, and other people kind of see it quite reductive, because, the fact that you have had to put a gender label on something, like you wouldn't call a man a male gamer, you just call him a gamer. So why do we call women girl gamers? Yeah. What do you guys think? Wareef?
I tend to agree. I don't really like that term, because in the end, the whole purpose behind gamers is we're all equal behind the same screen, and it shouldn't really matter. And on a personal level, I don't even like the fact that they use the term girl even, because we're women and we're gaming. And as I see from a lot of tournaments that were held in 2020 alone, girls have been dominating this field in so many ways. Like even, to be very honest, even like in our own company, in our marketing department, it's run by women. So I think we deserve to just be called, gamers, and not just have this gender to like market us or something to assign a gender to. It should be equal and fun for everyone, regardless this or that. Like, I don't even like segregating tournaments. In any events that we throw, we do encourage everyone to play equally and participate on the same level. And I don't like having this like as a hindrance to anyone.
Yeah. I think the term came about, again, back then you wouldn't find gamer girls. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I would go online back in the days. I wanted to see girls streaming, but there wasn't many. So I would be like, gamer girl playing Call of Duty. Because there wasn't like gamer playing Call of Duty. You would find it's very male dominated. You would rarely find a gamer girl. So I see why this term was coined and came up, and we use it a lot. And it stuck with us. But right now, things are progressing. There are more female gamers. So I don't think it's fair right now in the current times to label girls in the gaming industry as gamer girls. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand it was necessary back then because there was a lack of there's lack of gamer girls, or you see, like, it's hard. It's stuck with you. But right now, no, I agree. We're dominating the field. There's so many female gamers, so it should be a profession. You don't call a female footballer as a female footballer or footballer girl. She's just a professional footballer. That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, off the back of that, it's kind of the same. There shouldn't be male-dominated anything anymore, nor should there be female-dominated anything. It's, it's 2020, and we're, supposed to be focusing on equality across, not just gender, but race, types, everything, no matter what it is. And I think just like you wouldn't want to be called a male nurse or a female nurse, or you don't go to your doctor or your female doctor, you go to the doctor and you seek out medical help, you know? And similarly in gaming, I personally find it a bit regressive at this point because most of us are just there to play games, you know? It's a hobby or pastime, and for some people a career. It has nothing to do with capabilities. And I understand, though, at the same time that it does serve as a bit of a foundation for a community for some women. And I don't want to take that away from anyone. I just don't identify as a girl gamer. I just like video games.
I sometimes tend to find myself using the phrase just because I really like alliteration and it just rolls off the tongue when you're writing about it as a journalist. Girl gamer just sounds nice. But no, I totally agree with all of your points. And when Cosmo kind of started entering the gaming market, the gaming industry, and learning more about it, one of the things that I was really interested to learn was that actually a lot of women, particularly in Saudi, were playing under male pseudonyms because they wanted to be taken seriously in a gaming arena, etc. Have you guys ever played under a male alias? Do you know anyone that plays under a male alias? Is it changing?
Well, I still do. It's not a male alias, but my name is never clearly me as a woman. And quite honestly, it was always just to avoid harassment, unfortunately. But even recently, my partner, his brothers, saw that my Activision account had like reset or whatever it was, and it actually had my name in it. They're like, oh, you have to change that. And I found it really interesting that even men understand that you shouldn't portray yourself as a woman openly because you're opening the door to kind of comments or assumptions or stereotypes without even necessarily wanting them. But yeah, I still play with just a kind of gender neutral name.
Wow, that's so interesting. Haya, what about you?
To be honest, it was always my name and then the date of birth. And I agree, sometimes I ask myself, did I do the right thing? Because once you step into a lobby and people notice you're a girl, it's like all eyes are on you. And if you don't perform well, I mean, it's normal that you won't perform well in every game, but then they're going to, like, one failure is going to, they were going to brush you off like, oh, gamer girl, obviously she's not that great. What is she? What did she expect? Blah, blah, blah. Like, go do something else. Why are you even here? And you get a lot of harassment, and there's always this pressure that I have to perform well, or as if I'm not the top of the leaderboard, they're gonna make fun of gamer girls. And it's like,
yeah, it's something that Haya and I were actually talking about before we sat down here, but it is almost as though if you make a mistake, it's immediately attributed to the fact that you're a woman. And it's kind of like, no, I'm not good at this game, you know, or today it's just I'm having an off day. It's not that, you know, because I'm a woman, I've made this mistake. No, because actually you just made the same mistake 10 minutes ago and I'm about to make it again. And it has nothing to do with that. It's just, you know, tough competition or I'm having an off day. And it almost does feel a bit kind of like the pressure's on your shoulders to like represent, but you should be able to just play without that kind of assumption.
Yeah. Wareef, what about you?
For me personally, I always tend to sign up to things with my actual name because it's not a really common name anywhere in the world, especially in Saudi. So it's always the original name with no numbers or like any symbols next to it. So I always take pride in my own name. But because it's uncommon, it's also, as they said, assumed to be a male user. But I'm not afraid or anything. I do show or just mention that yes, I'm a girl. And as for me and my friends, whenever we play online, we thrive, let's say, on the shock effect of being, oh yeah, you know, that's the group of girls that just won and, you know, schooled us, let's say. So I think that's something that we enjoy as women. That's like a little hidden trophy that we live for, is like the shock effect of, you know, schooling the boys. But yeah, I do understand girls / women that do hide their gender because of the issues that they may face by some players that are not as enlightened, let's say, or accepting of the diversity within the playing field. So I do understand and sympathize, but I do wish that we can all play and be comfortable for it, whether you're playing with a female character or a male character, whatever floats your boat should be something that you're most comfortable with, and those around you should be more accepting. But I do see now people are using it as their trump card. It's like, yeah, I'm a girl, and I'm just better at you at this, and I love that. I live for this.
I feel like the topic of harassment in gaming keeps coming up time and time again. Do you think this is something that is actually more rife in the gaming industry because people have that anonymity behind a screen, behind a keyboard, etc.?
I think it's just the internet. And I don't think it's, being a woman or a man or anything. I think the internet is just a place where anonymity allows for you to say things you wouldn't say to a person's face.
I totally agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I just read a book actually that was talking all about this and how cyberbullying increased because your brain can't actually receive, sorry, I'm not a scientist, but your brain can't receive the same signals from a person's face being let down when you insult them, for example. Yeah. And that actually scientifically prevents you or stops you from offending someone, usually. But when you're doing it from your phone or through a microphone where you have no clue how the person is taking that feedback or that, snide remark, you're unable to kind of process it the same way, and therefore you feel enabled to say whatever you want. And I think regardless of if it's a comment on an Instagram post or in the middle of a, game of Call of Duty, you resist less, I guess. And unfortunately, when you are, obviously a woman by your voice or your name or whatever it might be, that comes with stereotypical comments or retorts.
Are you playing with a microphone as well?
It depends. Not always. It totally depends. If I'm playing with people that I've gone to play with, so for example, my cousin or my friend have joined the game with me, then yes, because the whole point is to play with them and communicate. But I find, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but I do find that I avoid it if I'm not there to talk to anyone because I don't know, it's just kind of like opening Pandora's box and I just don't need it. I just want to play the game. But that's just my opinion. I know that's not necessarily the right way to be, but.
Haya, what about you?
I agree. There is a lot of harassment. It's prevalent and it's not based on gender. It's in every game. It's in everywhere, all over the internet, and the anonymity does play a huge role in, as you said, because you don't know how the person's going to react, and you feel entitled because the internet gave us so much freedom to be whatever we want to be. So we feel entitled that, I want to share my opinion, and if you can't handle it, then that's your problem. Even in the gaming, I would go into a lobby and it's not even with a female male, it's based on nationality or based on your accent. They would make fun of anything and everything because it's fun, and that's how they're entertaining themselves.
Wareef, what about you?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I do understand that it's easier to hide behind a screen or a keyboard, but when I'm gaming online, whether it's with friends or without, I do tend to speak up and try to introduce myself to others because I do enjoy the melting pot of it all. I do enjoy meeting different people and all of that. That's just something within my personality. But I do understand that some girls tend to hide that because, for example, it's not just about the bullying. Some people just are not comfortable talking to strangers. I mean, we've grown up being taught, don't talk to strangers. So there you go. But in the end, I think it's a comfort thing. And if this is the one thing that helps you join the game and be comfortable, then power to you. If not, and you want to meet more people, then that's the entire purpose of online gaming. It's your social platform to meet new people, whether they're from different cultures, different backgrounds, or different countries. I believe gamers online now have friends across the board and across the globe, even more than the most popular person in high school. So I think this is something that we have an advantage on.
So why do games need girls? Why does the industry need women in it?
I mean, I think it's a diversity thing, right? It's not just women, it's race, it's everyone needs to be represented. Mm-hmm. And I know when I was kind of preparing ahead of joining you guys today, I was doing some research to understand actually how badly the industry does need women. And I was reading that I think 88% of game developers are men. Wow. Which is, of course, then women aren't going to be represented not only equally, but properly, you know, in a human way, how women look and are and behave. You know, of course that's not going to happen because there's not enough women creating those characters or, you know, helping those communities thrive. And it's just like I was saying before, nothing should be male dominated anymore. It's, you know, everything should be equal. And I know that's very idealistic, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, with every other profession, why do we need more female doctors? Why do we need more female engineers? It's same thing with a game. It's not really gender issue, it's just representation of what the actual population is. Everyone deserves to have fun. Everyone deserves entertainment. It's not that, oh, we don't care about gaming. A lot of women game. And so it's time to actually shine a light that, yes, a lot of women are gaming and this is the reality, this is the fact. So let's represent them even with developers. Like, we need more female developers because they would understand also how to represent a female. And with the plot and the storyline and the emotions involved, it feels more humanistic when another female represents me. We think alike, we understand each other and the quirks and the cues.
So where do you see, Wareef, the next 5 years going for women in the gaming industry?
I see a lot of games and a lot of girls in the future for gaming. I do believe we will take more active roles in, hopefully, inshallah, creating games and being part of these games. Because as everyone just said, the world needs women and females in gaming, not just to represent and showcase and just show up. It's we're needed because there's the whole view and representation and the imagination that comes from people with different perspectives, different values, different backgrounds that women do, bring to the game. Where do I see them in 5 years? I see more, inshallah, female developers. I see more champions. I see more women leading industry, because as more and more like interest of gaming in the society and community and in the entire countries within the GCC, it shows that there will be, inshallah, hopefully, more employment for women, where they'll have active roles that will make more women become more active and involved and participate in the industry.
And how do you think that we can help ourselves get there? Do you think we're doing ourselves a disservice by entering gaming forums and tournaments with ungendered names, or how do we kind of help, get more women involved?
I think the best way to help is be present, be yourself and be present. You don't need to hide behind a username. If you're feeling some malice, just, the block button is there for a reason. Just be present and enjoy the experience. If this lobby was not for you, then there are many other lobbies for you. If this game was not suitable for you, there are many genres that can cater to everyone's need. I am a firm believer that there is something out there for everyone. This is something that applies immensely to games. So be present, participate in all the tournaments that you want, play all the games, try everything, call your friends and, have your movie nights, and then the week after have your game nights. Just make this your own. That's what I believe.
I love that.
Yeah.
Bianca, what were you going to say?
I think it's a very complicated question, because I don't think that it's fair for every woman who wants to play a video game to have the weight of the world on their shoulders. And it's also, you know, a very personal thing if you feel comfortable or not. And there's so many different categories of games that you can be playing. And, you know, there's a whole other discussion to be had on what's seen as serious gaming versus, you know, pretend gaming or not real gaming. And I think you should kind of just be able to do it however you want and wherever you want. But I do think that the onus should just be on the community also to just welcome whoever wants to play the game in whatever fashion they please. Now, of course, you know, trolling will always be an element of that, or maybe not always, but for the foreseeable future, I don't imagine that people will stop making, you know, jokes at other people's expense, regardless of who that person is. But I don't know. I think that you shouldn't have the responsibility to represent everyone and do everything perfectly. I think that you should be able to play however you so please. But with that being said, you know, the feminist in me, of course, wants to kind of lift other women up and encourage them to at least try. Like for me, I know how much gaming has brought into my life. So, and it's kind of like reading, you know, people who say, oh, I don't read books, I don't play video games. I'm like, what? How do you not do, those are my two favorite things, you know, how do you not sit down and read a book and take things from it, or sit down and play a game and just completely disconnect from your day-to-day life and learn skills that you didn't know that you had. And, you know, I do want to encourage other women to get involved, because I understand, well, I was born into a family where my parents encouraged me to play video games and allowed me to do that. Not every, you know, young girl had that opportunity. So perhaps it is a little bit of our responsibility as grown women to, you know, be able to say, you can try it. You know, you might not like it, but you can try it. And yeah, I think in terms of, you know, usernames and representing, absolutely, you should feel able to do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you're made to feel uncomfortable, that's not your fault. That's someone else's fault for making you feel that way. So you do have to address it in a way that you feel safe and comfortable and, you know, right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, the representation comes in so many ways. Even if you don't show your face, you could be a host, you could be just PR and marketing games, you could be a developer. In any way, there's so many ways to represent females. It doesn't necessarily have to be just streaming, creating games, writing about games, whatever it is. Just the way you are in control when you're gaming, you can be in control with your life too. Whatever you want to, however you want to represent yourself, you don't owe anyone anything. If you're not comfortable with it, I don't think you should do it. But you can always create comfort if you are passionate about gaming. There are so many ways to be involved. It's not just streaming. So.
Even my younger sister, actually, she and I have been, you know, side by side playing the Nintendo since we were kids. And she never really played as much as I did. And to this day, she still doesn't. She was like, I love watching people play video games. She's like, but I'm not good at it. I don't enjoy it as much. And for me, it was really difficult to understand that. But she was like, but I still love it. Like, I still want to sit there and play with you. I enjoy, regardless of what it is. But it's not a skill I have. It's not my talent. I get too stressed out and frazzled and I don't do it. But she still is involved. She's still present. She still understands the lack of representation that there is, where the gaps are. And, you know, she educates herself on, you know, women in gaming as well as in other industries. As a woman, she finds that very important. So it's not just also about playing games and using a specific username, or also playing games that are typically very masculine just to prove that you're capable. Not at all. Play wherever you want. Don't play. It doesn't matter. But as long as you are, you know, representing yourself in the truest way.
And Wareef, I'll come to you first. So if you could give a young woman advice who is just going into gaming, she's just getting into it for the first time, what one piece of advice would you give her?
That's a tough one, because I really like giving advice. I would say, whether you're going into it as a profession or you're going into it as, you know, wanting to be competitively, wanting to be a champion, I would say try everything. If you wanted to do it as a profession, there's no harm in trying different departments within an organization. If you wanted to, for example, go to it professionally as, you know, a streamer or a gamer, then stream everything, play everything. Make sure that you exhaust every option that is made available to you, because not everyone is as lucky to have the options that you will have. So make sure that you explore every opportunity and try everything. And don't let any like thoughts or negativity or something in the back of your head stop you. There's always someone out there cheering you on. And I'm sure there are, like, you know, women that have cut the path for us already and paved it for us. So don't worry. If even if you're paving it for someone, inshallah, you're making it easier for someone to follow you. So try everything.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree. And the most important thing when you're entering something professionally, it is a job. And when you are joining something new, you read contracts, you know what you're signing up for. And I think a lot of us, even as female gamers, we don't know most of the time what are our rights, or when our boundaries are being crossed, or when are we being taken advantage of. And so it's so important that you know, like, do your research, know what's appropriate, know what are the limits, what are the contractual things, because again, if you want to take it as a profession, it is a job, and you want to make sure you're being protected in every way possible. And of course, at the end of the day, have fun. Growth takes time. Sometimes you get lucky and you grow quickly, but as long as you're having fun, then it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. It feels like just your entertainment every day.
Well, that's why gaming was created, right? It's for fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are very lucky to call it their job, but absolutely you can, you know, take yourself as seriously or not as seriously as you want. And I think that's what's important. You shouldn't feel like there's a certain bar that you have to meet to be into gaming or considered a proper gamer. You know, I don't meet that bar. Absolutely I don't, you know, and it's not my profession. It's a hobby, and it's something that I do in my pastime and I'm very passionate about. But, you know, I don't feel bad calling myself a gamer just because I don't meet certain criteria. Just go for it. Do what you want. Play Animal Crossing, play Candy Crush. You know, mobile gaming is a huge industry on its own. It doesn't have to be a certain category of gaming. If you enjoy it and you're good at it, or even if you're bad at it, but it calms you down and it takes the stress of your 9 to 5 away, then go for it. Just like you would any other hobby. You shouldn't let, you know, whether it's the hostile community or your, you know, fear of perhaps not performing, you shouldn't let that get in the way, just like you wouldn't if it was sports or, you know, anything else.
And final question, favorite game of the moment and why? Silence.
Such a hard question.
There's so many. PS5 came out. Come on. Am I going first?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Mine would have to be Spider-Man Miles Morales, but only because Spider-Man PS4 that came out in 2018 was also my favorite game. And this game is something that carries so many beautiful memories for me personally, because I got I love playing it. You're like going around New York and everything, and I love New York. It's also the first game I got to work on, working for PlayStation, and it's such a beautiful game. Like, even during quarantine, it allowed me to roam the streets and swing around. So yeah, and Miles Morales is such a beautiful game. I'd actually recommend it to you guys.
What about you guys?
Ooh, for me, it would probably be Call of Duty. I'm still on the Call of Duty train. Yeah, it would either be Call of Duty or maybe Red Dead Redemption. I'm still playing Fallout 76, even though a lot of people think that that's old news, but I love the Fallout franchise, so that would be my top 3.
Yeah, I think mine, it's always going to be Call of Duty. This is something that's in my DNA. But recently I did start getting into FIFA 21. Only because, yeah, it's also huge in esports. It's very competitive and I enjoy it. It's always 1v1. A lot of my friends are playing it and it's very strategic, full of tactics. So yeah, it has to be, I think, FIFA 21 right now.
I played a lot of Call of Duty at university because I lived in a house of boys and that's what was always on. But it was the zombie level. That's the best. That zombie add-on. Oh, so much fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Wareef, for dialing in all the way from Saudi. And thank you, ladies. It was great to chat to you today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Big shout out and respect to every girl gamer trying to make her path come true in the esport world. Thank you so much for the exciting panel. And now more talks about how to become more of a professional. We have a lot of passion as gamers, right? Which leads us to the fact of maybe one day I want to make my own game. Another talk right now in the coming session about how to build your own career in the Middle East and game development and gaming altogether coming up next in DGC, brought to you by Neom. So game on to the next session.